going to look really slick. Fortunately, I can't say the same about the original handles or latches for the 74 Charger. Pivot pins on these are toast. They're seized up, and the latches, they are done. I've had them soaking in penetrating oil, tried to loosen them up, and they're just not working the way they should. They keep jamming up. So we're going to deep six these and run with something a little different. Now, if you've been following along with the build, I'm pretty sure you may have seen in the previous episode what we're going to be running with. For new people, well, we'll get to that in a second. But I just wanted to kind of go over what we've been doing here. The new quarters installed on screws, flanges almost rolled, front one's done. We need to do this one yet. And all this back here has been scribed, and we need to eventually get into forming up the rear fascia. Not there yet. There's one more flange that has to be rolled in underneath here to tie into the rocker. Not going to do that until these doors come off and we rework the hinges, because that's no good. They don't want to close right, and if we set these gaps over here to this, it's going to be a losing battle from this point onward to the end, where we try to finish it with tons and tons of mud. Tons and tons of mud. You'll never get it to close right. So we don't use mud. These quarter panels are on hold at the moment until we get a few more things done. The front panels shaped up, you saw that. And I've got a lot of all the structure completed, tying in of the body, the 74 Charger body, to this donor platform. Let's go to the front. I'll show you what's going on over there. Okay, Cirque du Soleil time. Whoop. Ah. Whoop. Okay, let's try this one more time. There we go. One too many beers. All right, so we have the whole front cowl section tied in. The windshield perimeter, there's a couple little holes yet there in the old wiper mounts. We have to rework that, cut that out, and fill them in. But for the most part, all the structural work has been completed. All the stuff in the back there, I need to climb on the inside and finish welding it from this side, from the inside of the car. Everything from the outside has been finished. A-pillar's done. Bottoms have to be tied in and capped. End of the rockers need to be done yet. So little things now. Front bumper, that's mounted on some temporary brackets. We have to basically tie this in to the Infinity. This is no longer a bumper. This is a cosmetic fascia piece. That's the bumper. That's what holds the frame rails from coming apart. I'm not going to get into that until we finish off the front fender skins. We've got a pile of sheet metal laying right there. Today what I want to tackle is these door handles, get them installed, and get this body off the frame table. Since everything is structured, nothing's going to move. We can cut the body off from these jigs. It's been welded up underneath. Buzz that off there and at the front, both sides. Pick this car up and drop it down on the ground, where we can then take and pull the engine out, start disassembling it, take it down to a complete bare shell. We're going to give this thing a lot of love. So I've got two cars with no handles, and they can get a little dicey sometimes, especially with a dead battery. So from a functional point of view, I like to keep the handles on the car. This one here, once we're completed, it's going to be painted body color, and it's going to blend right in with the final finish. However, in trying to keep with the Charger theme, these little handles here, they used to fish in through there, and used to come in from the underside, pick it up when it wasn't seized, and open the door. The top was kind of angled down and smooth. When it comes to this handle, we're going to incorporate it pretty much the same way. We're reaching it from underneath and open it. Top side is going to be flush with the top of the handle, so you really can't get your fingers in there, but that's okay. It's a custom ride. The other thing, we have two plugs here for the electronics. So when you close or lock the car with your fob, everything's the way it should be. These are, or this is, the latch that we're going to be using. Again, it came from the donor. So everything is going to correspond with the computer and keep that part happy. I've gone ahead and installed the strike support. That's already done. And the last thing to do is the handle. So I figured you guys want to see how that's going to, develop. One thing I'm running into after doing a little bit of studying and analysis here, big words, this rod activating mechanism that ties in with that latch, we're going to have a few little issues with it due to the depth of the door, I think. We have the strike plate installed. I still need to seal up these holes, do some more plenishing, and just finalize it. What I have to figure out is, will that rod interfere with this sheet metal in this spot? This corresponds to this area here. So what we do here, say we have to bring this out, we're going to have to adjust this area accordingly. We should have enough room to bring that in and not mess up our power windows back here. Close that. That's hitting on the old strike. We still have to convert that over to the new one. It's a hoop, so that's going to go soon. Right now, what I have to do is get that latch orientated so that we can get these doors off, rework the hinges, and then reassemble it and carry on with the rest of the sheet metal work. In order to get a straight line, I'll get to work in a second. In order to get the proper line, a straight line that flows and has the handle sitting in the right orientation, I'm running off the two original mounting bolts. You can see the side of this car has curves going on everywhere. There's a pinch here, Coke bottle shape, it just widens out there. So if I went to, say, the top line, the handle on an angle would look really weird. So going with the original mount of the original little handle, which is level, hopefully Chrysler located it in a level position, I'm going to run off of that and install the new handle at that same level. And hopefully after we're all done, it'll look good. If not, we can always shave the handles and then have those little wires come up from the latch and just activate it up here, just pull it like that. So earlier I made this template, and we're going to locate it just like so. Before I cut this mark and cut this hole out, I want to drill one tiny hole to see exactly where the opening, let's see, this way, for this piece of sheet metal is going to sit. So there we have, what do you call that? Inch and 5/8, inch and 5/8 heavy, almost inch and 3/4. Let's see what, I'm way off today. Inch and 1/4. Darn, I got to get my micrometers calibrated again. Inch and 1/4, yeah. And here we have from the skin, that's where the inch and 3/4 came from. Inch and 3/4, and leaves us 1/8 of an inch between the rod clip and the skin. So that's, I was planning this out ahead of time. I didn't get to work on it until I brought you guys in. I thought you might want to see it. If we took the handle and moved it ahead a little more, it wouldn't look right. We're going to keep it back as far as possible without affecting the pinch and without affecting the structure too much back there. This is a really big bracket that we have to accommodate, but we will, and it will work. Got to have confidence. Right there. All right. So I'm going to help me align. Ooh, down. Ta-da. Ooh. So front has been indicated. We're going to do something like this. Okay, our trusty rubber mat and our piece that we have to adjust. Hey, welcome back. We're going to use a zip blade and cut through that. I don't want to distort it with the snips. We'll have to fill in this little keyhole. Like, I try to shave keyholes whenever possible. Leave the handle as original. The problem is with these handles, I have tried to resurrect them, and they're really, really pitted. I think the passenger side one is actually worse than this one. Now, before I get into cutting on the back side of this door, back side of the skin, I should say, we have a whole bunch of undercoating. Can't weld through undercoating, doesn't behave well when you're burning it, smokes up the place really bad. So I'm just going to take a putty knife, heat it up a little bit, the undercoating that is, and scrape it off. Now, you don't want to overheat the skin, you just want to create enough heat to warm it up and melt it so you can scrape it. And I really can't get the propane torch in here. I'm going to do it from the other side, warm the skin up, and then scrape it. It's okay. I'm not focusing the heat in one spot, just playing it over. Hopefully it's warm enough. See that? Just in the area where we need to work. I don't need to strip everything off. It's stuck on quite well, it's not falling off. So now we can go ahead and chop that out. See, this door is pretty curved here. It gets flatter. It still has a curve, but not as much as this one. This one has a little more curve right straight through. Now, you can't always do something like this with a set of doors you may have, given the thickness of the door. You know, if the door is a very narrow door, you can't really do that. You see the structure in behind there. So we'll get this tacked in. I am really curious. Ooh. Okay. Catch there, slide in. Oop. Slide out, slide in. Oh, there we go. So there's a catch here and a stud provision there. So that's surprisingly how painful that little thing is when it's so small. I don't know where I picked it up, but I'll have to take it out later. Okay. Well, that fits. That's a good thing. We're going to use this handle without the wires. I don't want to break the wires off. You move it around too many times and you don't know. Come on. I can't be holding my tongue straight or something. Ah, there we go. Bingo. And what we need is this. You know what I should have done? Oh, that's why it's loose. It's slid out. Yeah. Sometimes I wish I had longer arms. You know, orangutans have it made. Knuckles drag on the ground. Then you'll have those knuckle calluses. Come on, this way. Oh, please. Oh, that's my happy dance. Problem is, I'm not jumping up and down yet. Ah, no. Son of my gun. Oh, I thought we got it. I'm going to show you by how much. Ah, it's okay. I expected this. Yeah. What I'm going to do instead of making a big mess cutting apart this door, oh, check this out. Instead of cutting all this apart, getting a flap out and a whole deal like that, I'm going to take and warm this up. Get the oxyacetylene torch, just warm that up, nice yellow color. And we're going to just out. It's not going to affect anything over here or here. It might close this space in, and if it does, we'll adjust that. But check out how close we got it in by. It's that little bit, a 1/4 inch, and then a 1/4 inch clearance for our rod. And remember I was mentioning 1 3/4 inches? Well, this is 1 1/4 inches, and then the other half is what allows us to settle down and give us our clearance for the rod. So this is not a big deal. You know, you just don't freak out. So we're just going to weld this up. I'll bring you guys in when we're about to do some black magic, not black magic. Give us a bit of clearance for the rod. Yep. All right, so we're gonna give this a try. We'll get that mounting bracket in place and get the key lock cylinder little fixture slid in and see how much clearance we have. At that point, we can stop here if it works, or we have to take and adjust it a little bit further. I have to make sure though that it doesn't hit on there. So first we try this and then we work our way inward, and in order to close the door, I have to pull the strikes, so that's what I'll do next. See if I can get that plate out and make readjustments, re-drill the holes, and create a mount for the new loop style modern strike. This I put into stock. It's still a good strike, nothing wrong with it, not worn out. Sometimes bushings are done, and the Torx itself is in really nice shape. Never know what project may roll around the corner. I mangled this hole a little bit when I was driving this dolly in from the front to readjust the back. The reason I use this dolly is because it had a nice rounded surface and it kind of softened. I didn't want any sharp points sticking out on the other side. So this slid in really well around the corner, and I was able to bump it. But I bumped one of those tabs so the plastic cleat doesn't want to catch. So we make slight adjustment. Bingo. Let's see if this goes in. So far, so good. Now I need to jump up inside, look inside, but not climb actually inside the door in case you're wondering, and see if that clears. It looks close. Might need a mirror or something. Try the actual key. Ooh, it turns. You want to do this now and not in the bodywork stage. Find out that something doesn't want to clear. Okay, turns clockwise. Unfortunately, it doesn't turn counterclockwise. Darn. That's good. It's close though. Okay. There is a bracket on the inside. Something that didn't quite see. Now you see that bracket right there? Comes in from the left. We're actually bumping up against that. If that came up straight, we would have been perfect. So we need to now take and make a slight cut right here, chop off that bracket, move the sheet metal in, re-weld it. Try this again. Oops, upside down. Well, I can turn it both ways, which is excellent. Wow, that's awesome. Down is not a problem, up. I've got one little spot binding up. It's right there where that green line is. If we allow that little bit of clearance, we'll have no problem later on down the road. Ready, set, go. Just that little point. Warm it up, warm it up, warm it up. Yeah, very nice. And that's all we need. I think this tripod's done. Top pivot mount broke when it fell down earlier outside in the wind. So we're gonna get a new tripod. It's getting a little bit annoying because I'm not sure what you guys saw in terms of massaging. So that's gonna be it for this. I'm gonna get everything reassembled one more time once it cools off. Right now, what I'm gonna do is get you guys back here. And we are gonna get into taking this car and removing it from the frame table. We're at that stage where all the structural stuff is done, most of the panels are shaped up, hood's coming back today from the blaster, same with the deck lid. So we're gonna get into that, fitting that up front so we can fit the front fender, the front sheet metal. Fenders, plural, we're making 2 fenders from scratch. Once we cut these jigs off, this car is gonna jump up. There's no weight to it at all. Right now it's at factory OEM ride height, 6 in the front, 6.5 at the back. We want to come down a little more later on. We'll probably do a lowering kit for it. But at the moment, it's going to look, well, when we cut these jigs off, it's going to look mighty funny with it up in the air with no weight. You have to bear with me with that. There's going to be a kind of a transitionary stage where we're just going to do a whole bunch of work on the car with it either on the lift or on the rotisserie or on jack stands, and you're not going to see it at ride height until we more or less have it all the metal work, all the quarters on, and you know, just finalizing things. We need to make some room. We have a new project coming in. Okay, disassembly time. So all we want to do is just give it a little bit of tension at the front here, so when I cut those welds, this thing doesn't jump up diagonally. Okay, so now when we let this up, the whole car should come up. Well, I guess that's it. I thought it'd be a lot more. So we are going to end up with a very nice low-riding car once all the seats and everything are in. I think I said the front was 6.5, and that's a space there of 1 inch. So, yeah, done. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode on installing a modern door handle into a classic car. I guess if you want to keep the car classic, you'd stick with the original, buy a replacement piece, reinstall it without doing all this. But if you're doing a custom and you want some modern touches, that's the way to go. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps out a lot. Until next time, take care. Things are going to look really different when you tune in next time.